Let's talk about one of the biggest shifts in modern warfare, maybe ever. I'm talking about the move from battles fought at human speed to a battlefield that operates at the speed of an algorithm. And to really get a handle on just how huge this change is, well, it all kicks off with one simple number.
2,000. That's it. Just 2,000. So what on earth could that number represent when we're talking about a war zone?
You got it, 2,000 people. That's how many staff it took to run just one targeting center back in 2003. Think about that. An entire small town's worth of people, all focused on processing data. This was the absolute peak of human-powered warfare. And honestly, it kind of set the stage for everything that was about to change.
So yeah, let's dive into what that old way of doing things actually looked like. Before AI really entered the picture, figuring out what to target was this massive, slow, manual process. It all came down to human brainpower and a whole lot of coordination. I mean, just look at the difference here. It is absolutely staggering. You're going from needing 15, maybe 20 minutes to process a single piece of data, down to less than a minute. You're going from these gigantic targeting centers, basically warehouses full of analysts, to small, nimble teams. It's a complete flip. This wasn't just a small step up. It was a total revolution in what was even possible. And it was all driven by one massive problem. So what could possibly force such a radical change? The answer, really, is pretty simple. Data. Just too much of it. Militaries were suddenly drowning in this tsunami of information, and the old way of doing things, the human-powered way, just couldn't keep up. Right. Just try to imagine it. You've got sleets of drones, satellites, all beaming down a nonstop 24/7 flood of high-res video and images. The human brain, as amazing as it is, just became the bottleneck in the system. There literally aren't enough eyeballs on the planet to watch all that footage. Something had to be done to cut through all that noise, and that's when decades of AI research finally got its big moment.
You know, the idea of AI has been around forever, right? Since the 1950s. But for the longest time, the technology just wasn't there. Early on in the 90s, the military used AI for things like logistics, making sure supplies got from A to B. But it wasn't until the 2010s, with this explosion in computing power and big data, that AI could finally be pointed at that massive data problem, which led directly to a game-changing new project.
So, in 2017, the Pentagon kicked off something called Project Maven. Its goal was super specific. Use AI to tackle that data overload and completely change how the military sees the battlefield. And the magic sauce behind Project Maven is a technology called computer vision. Basically, it's about teaching a computer to see and understand the world like a human does. To look at a picture and say, that's a tank or that's a truck. The only difference is the machine can do it millions of times faster, and it never, ever gets tired. So how does it really work in practice? Well, think of it like a tag team. The AI does all the heavy lifting. It sucks in all that drone footage and scans it tirelessly, looking for things it's been trained to find. Then it presents its findings to a person as a simple overlay on a map, like, hey, I think I see something interesting here. But, and this is the most important part, the AI only suggests. The human operator is the one who makes the final call. The authority to actually do something still rests with a person. And the result of this human-machine team, it's just wild. A job that used to take a team of analysts 12 hours, an entire shift, can now be done in under a single minute. That's not just an improvement, that is a complete paradigm shift that redefines the very speed of war. Okay, so this technology is no longer some sci-fi concept stuck in a lab. Project Maven and systems just like it have moved to the front lines. We're seeing their impact in conflicts happening right now today. This photo right here, this captures the new reality perfectly. You take a simple, off-the-shelf drone, something you could buy online, and you pair it with some really smart AI software, all of a sudden it becomes an incredibly sophisticated recon tool, putting power that was once reserved for superpowers into the hands of individual soldiers. And this is happening all over. In Ukraine, you've got drones that use AI to spot 64 different kinds of military hardware on their own. You've got software from companies like Palantir that pulls together tons of different data streams into one clear picture. In Israel, systems with names like Lavender and Gospel are crunching data for targeting. Even Russia is using AI for electronic warfare. It's not coming anymore, it's here. The algorithmic war is officially a global thing. And look, this goes way beyond just finding stuff. AI is getting woven into the whole military decision-making process. It starts with data sensing, using computer vision to see what's out there. Then it moves to sense-making, where it analyzes patterns to figure out what the enemy might be up to. From there, it helps with planning by spitting out different options super fast. And finally, it helps with the execution at machine speed. It's basically becoming the central nervous system for a modern military. This image really brings it all home. For all the talk about robots and automation, the reality on the ground is still this human-machine team. It's an operator, now supercharged by AI, able to see and act with a speed and precision that was just pure science fiction a few years ago. But this powerful new partnership also brings up some really, really tough questions. So, as we start handing over more and more of the thinking to algorithms, we walk into a whole new world of uncertainty. Now we have to wrestle with the unique challenges that come with trying to trust these incredibly complex and sometimes totally unexplainable systems.
Yeah, these things aren't like your car. They can be unpredictable. They can have hallucinations, literally seeing things in the data that aren't there. Their decision-making can be a black box, meaning even their creators can't tell you exactly why it made a choice. They can be brittle, working perfectly 1 minute, but failing completely if the weather changes. And everything, I mean everything, depends on the quality of the data they were trained on. These aren't just little bugs. They're huge challenges to building real trust.
And then you have the human element. There's this powerful psychological pull called automation bias. It's the risk that an operator, under incredible pressure, with seconds to make a choice, will just default to whatever the machine recommends without double-checking. The faster the machine gets, the more tempting it becomes for the human to just click yes.
And that leaves us with the one big defining question of this new era. As these machines get faster and smarter and more integrated into everything, how do we make sure that human judgment, human ethics, and human accountability stay in the driver's seat? That right there is the central challenge on the new algorithmic front.